What's up, everybody? We're back here at Hustler Casino Live. We are playing some 2-5. No other bigger games we're running tonight. But yeah, let's just jump straight into it. First hand of the night, I get dealt ace-6 of diamonds in small blind. Cutoff actually puts in the limp here, and it folds around to me, and I decide to bump it up with the ISO to $20. Folds back around to cutoff, and they decide to put in the call. So we're going to go heads up to a flop of queen, 9, 3, 2 spades. Do have some backdoor diamond potentials here as well, as also being able to hit an ace for top pair. Maybe top pair could be good. Well, let's see if we can find out. So I do decide to just start off with a bet of $25, roughly half pot here. And my opponent does put in the call. Turn brings in the 2 of diamonds. So that backdoor potential diamonds are starting to come in. And this lady was a little bit older at the table, so I felt like maybe she could have been tight, especially with her limping. So I decided to go a little bit crazy here on the turn. I put in the overbet for $130. Figured if she had some hands like Jack 10, King 10, even some 9x, or even some weak Queen X, she might just give up here. Obviously, she is going to chase some spade draws, maybe, but maybe she just lets it go because I did just overbet, right? And she thinks about it for a little bit, and unfortunately she decides she's going to be all in for $366. And I just go into the tank here. I'm really thinking, damn, what does she have here? She just jammed against my overbet and she limped pre. Just looking really rough here. It's going to be roughly $240 extra for me to call, and I'm like, oh man, this is almost like 3x my overbet. Just a really rough spot. So I tank, and I actually eventually decide to just let it go. Just didn't think I have enough equity, even though it's the nut flush draw. Just didn't think it was enough equity to call off here. And a couple of seconds later, she flips and she shows a set of threes. So I was more than right here. Yeah, just never good. So I'm glad I made the correct laydown. And next big hand of the night, I wake up with ace queen suited on the button. We have a limp in early position. It folds around to hijack, and they decide to bump it up to $30. Cutoff comes along with the call as well. And I decide, of course, to put in that sexy 3-bet. I bump it up all the way up to $115. The original limper does fold, and it folds all the way back around to hijack, who puts in the call, and cutoff actually puts in the call as well. But cutoff actually only has $30 behind, so they're pretty much just going to be all in with any C bet I make on the flop, right? But that's fine. We're basically just going to be kind of heads up for a side pot with hijack, but it is basically a 3-way kind of pot going for the main pot. So we're going to go to a flop of Jack 8 deuce 2 spades. So unfortunately there's 2 spades there. Backdoor clubs are possible, but I have 2 hearts in my hand. Not looking too good here. Hijack does of course check, and cutoff checks as well. I decide to just put out a bet of $100 here. Little small C bet. Hijack does put in the call, and cutoff does announce they're all in with their $35. No problem, that's just the main pot. I'm just focused on the side pot, of course. Now at this point, that money's already in the middle. Turn brings in the ace, but it is the ace of spades. Little problem there. Flush just got there. Once again, I have no backdoor outs with a spade. I literally just have ace queen of hearts. And randomly on this turn, hijack decides to donk announce they're all in. And I have roughly $450 behind me, so there's basically a $450 jam. Really, really rough spot here. And I go into the tank a little bit. I did immediately feel like I did have to call, but I wanted to think about the situation. And by them donking here, it just kind of, to me, it didn't make much sense. Basically, with a donk here, I was thinking, you know, would somebody really donk a flush? Would they really donk a flush? Obviously, they could have something like Queen 10 suited, Queen 10 of clubs, these kind of hands. But I was really focused on the flush variety. Can they donk a flush, or would they donk a flush? And I just didn't believe it, because on this turn, I'm going to have a lot of checkbacks. We get to a river. they can jam river and then I have to call. So why would you be so afraid with a flush here, and you're going to have stuff like queen 10 suited, queen 9 suited, like really strong flush draws that make flushes on turn, and they're going to be very high, like very high flushes. So they're not really scared about another spade coming on river. So I put all of this into my thought process and a couple of other things. And I decide, hey, yeah, I'm going to make the call here. I do flip in a chip. I make the call. And we go to the river, and then my opponent actually, even before the river game, they were rooting for a spade, and they said, yeah, you're probably good. And eventually we do go to the river, and then they just flip over king jack offsuit. So they just had top pair, pretty much second best kicker on the flop, and they just basically, I guess they turn their hand into a bluff on the turn. I don't really understand it. Yeah, really hard to get me to fold here. Just don't think that this was necessary at all by my opponent. But hey, I'm not going to complain. I'm happy that I actually came up with the call here. And third hand of the night, we wake up with pocket kings, the Cowboys.
There he is! There he is! Oh, this is beautiful!
In under the gun position, I do open to $15. And I get a bunch of callers in a later position. 3 callers to be exact. Big blind decides to put in the 3-bet squeeze to $80. And they actually only have $200 behind here. So I'm thinking with my kings, yeah, definitely going to be putting the 4-bet here. Want to just get all in the money against big blind right now. And a lot of people pretty much just calling my open behind. Just want to just eliminate them from this situation in this pot. So I decide to put in the nice 4-bet all the way up to $225. And everybody folds that did call, and it does come back around to big blind, and they announce that they are going to be making the call as well. So we're going to be heads up in this pot, and let's go straight to the run out. Space. Clean.
Damn it. You had 7 Ds?
Nice hand.
Thank you.
My hand.
I legitimately thought you had.
I would have called the 100.
Damn it. What?
I would have called the 80 or whatever.
So you would have what?
I would have called the 80.
Oh, the 80?
The streamers keep eliminating.
And last hand of the night here, I do wake up with king, jack, offsuit, and a low jack. And under the gun has put on the $10 straddle here. So when it does fold to me, I decide to open to $30. Hijack puts in a call for 30. Cutoff puts in a call for 30. And big blind puts in a call for 30 as well. So we're going to go 4 ways to a flop of 2 jack, jack, and we jack them 2 times. Love to see it, and it is a rainbow board. So looking pretty good here. I do have trips with the second best kicker, only going to be losing to pocket deuces and ace jack here. So pretty good spot. Being multi-way here, I decide to just start out with a little small wager. I just make it $30 to go. Hijack actually puts in the call. And then cutoff actually raises all the way up to $100 for some reason. Don't know what's going on here, but yeah, I mean, I have a really good hand here. Big blind does fold. I put in the call. And then hijack fold. So we're going to just be heads up with cutoff, and we go to a turn, and it comes the king of diamonds. I literally just bowed up. I have the best hand possible on this board at this point. Nobody's going to have pocket kings. Not worried about much. And I decide to check again. Cutoff puts out another bet of $100. I wish I saw a bigger bet here, but I'm not complaining here. I have the best hand. And I'm just going to be putting in the smooth call, hoping that they just keep blasting off here. And we're going to go to the river, and it comes the 3 of spades. Really unfortunate. Pretty much a blank river. Would have loved to see some connectivity from the flop or the turn there, like a diamond coming in on the river, an ace, just something to give me hope that their hand completes and they're actually going to just keep barreling off here. And I do check the river, just hoping. And sad news, unfortunately, my opponent does check back. I never get to see what they have. I turn over king jack, and They just mucked their cards. But hey, not going to complain. Take down a huge pot to end the night. And first session here at Hustler Casino Live, I come out with a profit of $1,038. And if you love this poker session here, make sure you check out this video where I play poker at the lodge and I end up making quads for the first time this year.